everyone. We want to give you a big warm welcome to our final episode of 2025. Today, we're taking a look back at the stories we've covered this past year. And so if along the way one of those story clips resonates with you, you can do two things. First of all, you can search and watch the full episode on our YouTube channel. We'll provide all of the episode numbers as we go along. And second, go ahead and send us a message and tell us how these episodes have impacted you personally. Our first clip touches on mental health and the power that faith has in the midst of some of the darkest valleys of the mind.
It was heartbreaking and devastating seeing Aubrey going through her depression. I felt like she's slowly drifting away. And there are times that her anger made me feel guilty and made me feel blamed, even though I didn't do something to hurt her. I knew back then that the battle was not hers alone, but that battle is our battle, and I refuse to let go of her. With every ounce of faith that I have, I stormed heaven and pray that God, please spare my wife, give her peace, save her from this darkness.
That was the turning point of our marriage, the turning point of my life, because that was the time when I said, I will not let the enemy win over this family. He destroyed the family I had when I was a child, and I'm never gonna allow him destroy my own family. Not anymore.
It felt like I had the weight of, the whole world on me. I think that's when it struck me so hard about how scary this illness really is. Because inside, I was so empty and so far from the normal David that it was just terrifying. And nobody could see it, and nobody could tell. When you get to a point in your life where you feel nothing for no one, you have nothing to lose, that's a scary place to be, And I was there, and there's an incredible army of individuals in this world who have dedicated their life to mental illness and mental health. And you know what? Like, they got another soldier, man. I'm back. I'm David again, and it's kind of time to share our stories more. It's time to treat this as an illness, and how we keep moving forward has got to change, The message is, man, we're taking down a giant, and this is one story of that.
Many of the shows that we feature here on Heart Matters showcase people who are making a difference and making a positive impact in our communities.
I get the fulfillment of seeing the development of the students. It's also fulfilling to be on the street and somebody wave to you and you say, oh, she's from Conversation Cafe or he's from Conversation Cafe. It's nice to be helping, really.
It makes you a world-wise person, just meeting people from different cultures and learning about where they came from and their backgrounds. So I just love that part of Conversation Cafe, where I get to have conversations with a different person each week.
Instrumental music is very unique in that there's no words. And so there's no language barrier. I can just set up anywhere in the world, just play, and the Lord's just been using the music in many ways to draw people to himself. Some of the most beautiful art has been created in the church. You just go to Europe and go into some of the greatest cathedrals, you'll see some of the most beautiful paintings, beautiful architecture. Of course, God is our master artist, everything that we see around us. When you see a sunrise or a sunset and just see how God uses light and color in such a beautiful way, And because we are created in God's image, I do believe that God has wired us to be creative. Redeem the arts for God.
Closed captioning provided by Terry's Tents, offering services such as printing, embroidery, craft supplies, and canvas fabrication for over 30 years. Located in Happy Valley Goose Bay.
Scott's Transport Limited is a family-owned and operated full transportation company located in beautiful Deer Lake. In business for over 25 years and with a fleet of modern equipment and dedicated team, we service the growing needs of businesses from Newfoundland and Labrador to Ontario and locations in between. If it matters to you, it matters to us.
Begin your next outdoor adventure with Notre Dame Recreation, where you'll find a full line of BRP products. From fun in the snow to riding the waves and adventures in between, they've got it covered with Ski-Doo, Can-Am, and Sea-Doo products. Visit your nearest Notre Dame Recreation Center.
This show is centered on faith in God. Our faith is really put into action when the trials of life seem to come out of nowhere.
They had come in, they sat down, they told us everything, told us that, his heart valve was completely destroyed and he was going to need open heart surgery. He was scheduled for surgery on April the 13th. At the end of the day, you really didn't know what was going to be the outcome after it was all said and done.
I knew it was a big surgery. I didn't know what to expect, and I liked to know what to expect. I do remember the night before making sure that you knew everything you needed to know about our insurances.
And it's a tough thing when you got to go into a hotel room the night before surgery and you have 3 kids at home and you're sitting there and you're so tired. I was so weak. I was like, I said, Lord, I need you to carry me the rest of the way because I just can't do this. The song came on the radio. The Lord is my shepherd. He goes before me. Defender behind me. I will not fear. He is my comfort and always holds me close. He's going before Mark, and I know that he's going to be with us, and he's going to hold me close. So much peace. Just from that song, it was like it came on the very moment that I needed it.
I had my sister and brother-in-law came here, more or less picked me up and put me in the truck and took me to Merge. I don't remember it. Next thing I know, I'm on life support.
His heart rate was so high, he couldn't even catch up with his own breathing. He was just, and they were cutting his clothes off and they were bringing him to the crash room, and then, somebody was yelling out cardiac this and cardiac that. And like I said, 20 minutes he was on life support, and yeah, it was sepsis. He had grown 2, I think it was, he said 2 very complicated bacteria. The infection had spread to his spine. After a month in ICU, they moved him to rehab, and then he was only in rehab a couple days, and then he lost everything. Couldn't walk, so then he's right back to 20 plus years ago.
Back in a wheelchair, transferring yourself back and forth to bed, and you're going to rehab, and they're telling you, oh, you're doing great, you can transfer yourself, but again, you're just revisiting the past. And sometimes there's just enough from God to get you through the rough points and the dry points. It's a lot more manageable when you're close to God and can draw close to Him when you don't have strength in yourself. He is now pulling you through.
Apparently they used a defibrillator on me 3-4 times. At one point they thought they had a heartbeat, but it was what they said, a non-usable beat. they basically had said, hey, there's nothing more we can do. And at this point, one of my friends, Mark Bueller, he was standing off to the side, and he overheard the paramedics and the firefighters talking. The guys at Gander, we'll just call it, and we'll put him on the stretcher and get him down. He could not believe that he was hearing these words that they're calling it. So he said, at that point, he said, a few other people that were there, standing around there, started praying. He said, I don't know how long we were praying. And he said, someone looked off to the side and saw my chest move. Because my heart wasn't beating, I wasn't bleeding, right? So there was no blood. And then all of a sudden, the bolt wound started bleeding. And it was at that point that they got me on the stretcher and they rushed me to the hospital, which was 10 minutes down the road.
The doctors are telling me that, there's not likely that he's going to recover. You're probably looking at putting him in a home. After 10 days, they said, we're going to try this again. They wouldn't even let me stay in the room this time while they woke him up. They said, you're going to have to wait out here because we're afraid of your reaction. So they woke him up and I could hear his voice. I could hear him laughing and making jokes with the nurse. The man has been dead. And now, 10 days later, he's laughing and carrying on. Being a good Newfie boy, we couldn't get over it, the laughter in the room. So, of course, then I just went in. I'm like, what's going on? And we had to celebrate for a few days because it was pretty incredible that this man was back.
And the waves were just pounding in on top of the ice. I seen the skidoo from Darren's head towards the island, and I seen Dwayne went on about 100 feet on open water. And their lights disappeared, and my skidoo was still going. I was balancing myself on the ice pans. I shut off my machine, and they were still yelling out to me to go back. And I said, it's too late, I'm in. Before long, I had no more strength. And the hypothermia was just set in, and I started to go under the water. And I was right in the run. And I didn't know too much about God. I knew there was one. I didn't really have a relationship with him. The God that my mother and grandmother Nichols had introduced me to when there was no human person to help me out was the one I cried out to. I cried out to God. I said, save me, I don't want to die. And I reached down and I made the last pull with the last bit of strength I had. The boot is still down at the bottom of the river somewhere. I went right to the top. As in scripture, and the psalmist said, he reached down from heaven and he rescued me. He drew me out of the deep waters. I cried out to God. He reached down from heaven and he rescued me.
We did get the results of the MRI that evening that Sierra had a brain tumor. It was one of the worst nights of my life. They did take Sierra for surgery, which lasted about 10 hours. It was only the grace of God that got us through that, and prayers, and everybody from all over the world was praying. There was prayer chains everywhere. So in January of 2014, the doctor, when he went in to go and remove the tumor, he wasn't able to get it all. He actually just sewed her back up and said, unfortunately, if I took any of this tumor, she wouldn't be able to walk, talk, eat. She would literally, what his words were, she would be a vegetable. So he left her, even though the doctor knew that, he left the tumor, and it was showing on that report like it was gone when they had gone back. The doctors reviewed the MRI images again, and even though they said it was there, it wasn't showing anymore. And the doctor's words specifically was, I know they said it was there, but we can't see it anymore. It was actually so unreal that They had the head of oncology at Sick Kids had connected with other doctors worldwide and had like a meeting about Sierra because they had no answers. They were like, we left the tumor and like it's no longer showing. Like it was, they have no answer for her. I would run into doctors afterwards at Sick Kids Hospital, and even people who, you know, don't have faith or maybe don't believe in God, they would still call her a miracle because they had no answer for what had happened to Sierra.
So on Sunday morning, our friends didn't get a response to her phone messages and stuff. So she packed up and said to her husband, I'm going up to check on this because he said something's not right up there. And her husband came with them. And when they got there, they found my husband was actually, I think, on the floor downstairs, and I was barely conscious in my chair upstairs. Basically, I remember nothing from the oxygen being put on me in the ambulance on the 14th of January till about the 22nd of February. I feel that what helped me was knowing that I had so much support around me. Except that you do have a lot of support and a lot of love and a lot of friendship and stuff around you. Like sometimes we want to kind of keep to ourselves and not let the world know what we're going through. But I think the world becomes a lot better of a place, I guess, if we do allow the love to come into our lives so that we can then share the love with others.
The news came back now where we wanted to hear that I had broken my neck in 2 places and had some damage to my spinal cord. You know, I couldn't move. I mean, my mind was going like, say, 1,000 miles a minute. What's this going to be, you know, wheelchair for the rest of my life? A partial verse of scripture that came to me, and it was in 2 Chronicles 20:12, when Joshua had all the armies come against him. And he said, my back is to the wall. In order, he's saying to God, my back is to the wall. We don't know what to do. We have nowhere to go. So my eyes are on you. And that's the part of the verse that I clung to. It happened on the 1st of January. We had surgery on the 3rd, got discharged on the 16th of January, and we left the hospital without even a prescription for a drug of any kind.
I got a phone call from my doctor, and she broke the news to me that I did indeed have breast cancer. I think both things went in my mind. I was like, I am 18 weeks pregnant. How is this going to work? How am I going to get treatment? So I had surgery when I was 30 weeks pregnant. When my journey started in January, like God was doing things like over and over and over again. Just little things that like I could go on and on. Like I could be here for hours talking about just little things that God did to like take care of me and my heart. And I've just experienced him in ways that I have never before. And so with no hair on my head and no use of my left arm, I gave birth on April 19th at 8:52 a.m. to baby Madeline, and she is perfectly healthy. It was the best day of my life, for sure. Yeah, we thank God for her every day. God has just taught me a lot in the last few months, and but a big thing is his faithfulness and his goodness, and he cares about the big things and the little things in my life, and so that has made it easier to trust him with my future.
We appreciate all the people who have shared their stories here on Heart Matters over the years. It's not always easy to get in front of the camera, but our guests realize the impact that a story can have when the spotlight is focused on Jesus. Perhaps you have a story to tell, or maybe a friend or family member has an experience to share with all of us. Maybe there's a unique event happening in your community, or an incredible singer from your area. We'd love to hear about it. Simply drop by our website and leave us a message. Or you can write us on social media, where you can also keep up to date with what's happening here each week. It's a blessing to be able to collaborate together and partner with what God is doing all around our beautiful province.
Looking for a quiet, clean, and economical place to stay in central Newfoundland? Evangel Convention Center offers hotel and motel rooms, cabins, bunk rooms, and RV lots. We are a family-friendly site featuring nature trails, a playground, and sporting areas. Give us a call today.
From envelopes to tractor-trailer loads, Dooley's Trucking caters to all your shipping needs. Capable of meeting all your shipping requirements throughout Newfoundland. Dooley's Trucking is your choice for fast and efficient delivery. Ship with the best. Ship Dooley's.
My name is Brandon Lee Mullet. I'm the owner here at Gander Appliance and Furniture, and I'd like to welcome you to our new showroom right here in Gander.
We carry a wide variety of furniture brands, including Canadian-made Decorest, Canadel Dining, and a large variety of Ashley furniture. We also carry major appliance brands such as Bosch, Maytag, and Whirlpool. Come visit us at 60 Armstrong Boulevard in Gander or 1 Fairview Street in Lewisport.
We love sharing all types of stories, but there is something extra special about a life that is completely transformed when turned over to Jesus.
I drank from an early age, done a nice bit of drinking. I consider myself a weekend alcoholic, I guess. Along with drinking, well, cigarettes, alcohol, now you add pain pills in on it, and then when you throw cocaine in on top of it, I started to get in over my head, like cocaine was the straw that broke the camel's back, sort of. It started taking me down. Financially, my relationships, with my family, my wife, my kids. All that matters is drug. Nothing else seems to matter, and it's like you're under a spell. But one of my friends was pretty persistent in getting me to come out to church. My father and my mother were both Christians all my life. And I knew about Jesus, I knew the gospel, even though I rejected it most of my life. You go in with the impression that you gotta be perfect, when it's actually the opposite. I know there's lots of people who are feels like they're drowning in their addiction. And you think that you're alone. You think that there's no hope. Well, I can guarantee you there's hope. And hope got a name. His name's Jesus.
He took away any desire, any urge I had for any alcohol or any smoking or anything. And people would always ask me, how did you quit drinking and smoking at the same time? At the beginning, I would just rub it off. I wouldn't really give them a straight answer. And then I realized, because every party we had, I was a soldier. I was the last man standing. And this here, now they couldn't understand it. And my answer to them was, I never ever quit drinking. I never ever quit smoking. I said, the Lord took it. He just took it away from me. And it's something that they found hard to understand.
He was tough. He was a tough one. He was a good man, but very tough to talk to him about Jesus and about the Lord. And to see him started to pray, it was just it was overwhelming. It was just so powerful, but I felt the Lord was going to do this for Alvin.
I pretty much just laid it all at the Lord's feet. I gave my heart to him. I surrendered. And I said, Lord, you can have every part of me. And in that moment of surrender, everything completely changed for me. Like you hear, born again. I was absolutely born again. Anybody who knew me prior to this can testify that I was absolutely born again, and it was the best thing I've ever done.
At the age of 2, we were removed from the home. My first time getting loaded on alcohol, I was 10. I started using substances daily when I was 15. Basically, I had CET, PTSD, complex trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder. I clearly remember my first suicide attempt. I was 12 years old. I went to jail. Double break and enter. I was in there for 2.5 months, so that was my real rock bottom there. I had to take responsibility for my life. I got out of jail, and I was staying with a lady that came to Cornerstone, and she brought me here. And I remember walking in here, and I just felt just like a warm blanket. I really felt welcomed. I really felt at home. I felt comfort. I felt just open arms, zero judgment, 3 months into myself being clean and sober, I started an NA meeting here on Thursday nights. I was alone. I was broken. I was ashamed. I was hollow. When I turned my heart over to Christ, that's when my life started become full and complete. And I feel confident that no matter what happens in my life, I'm looked after.
And I put my head up in the air and I said, God, if you're real, please help me. I'm not gonna make it. I can't do this no more, you know? I can't do it. All of a sudden I start gasping for air. It felt like, you know, something was being hauled out of me. I could feel it. I was gasping for air. I couldn't breathe. And I was looking around. I was like, nobody's around. I'm dying. Like, there's nobody. I don't know what's happening. It wasn't painful, but I felt like my breath was getting sucked out of me. And the Lord hauled me out of that hole that day. I could see his hand reaching down that hole and he hauled me out. But I'm stronger than I ever was. He made a soldier out of me. He made me who I am. He took my weaknesses and he made them my strengths. Because he knows what I've done and where I went wrong. And he knows I've asked for forgiveness. And he knows I have nothing but love for him.
This has been a great show, reminiscing over 2025, listening to great story pieces that remind us just how good and faithful God is. And as we come to the end of another year, many of us get those little reminders on our phones, don't we? An app pops up with a memory from this day last year or 5 years ago, or even a decade ago. And it's funny how technology knows just when to tap us on the shoulder. And then suddenly, we're staring at a picture we forgot we even took. And we're looking at a moment that we forgot we even lived. Some of those memories make us smile. Vacations that we took, road trips with the family, a big event that we were part of, a great meal that we enjoyed, a beautiful sunset that we captured because it felt too perfect to forget. And there are photos of birthdays and graduation days, concerts, family gatherings, camping trips, sporting events, and that time that we tried something brand new. And then there are the other memories, the ones that are a little harder. Pictures of moments when life wasn't so easy. Photos that remind us of seasons that we struggled through, and maybe the hardest of all, pictures of people who are no longer with us, faces we love, voices that we miss. Some of the images our devices bring back aren't just highlights, they're reminders of the valleys that we've all walked through. But whether the memories bring us laughter or tears, they all remind us of one thing: life is a gift. Through the ups and downs, the celebrations and challenges, the moments that we wish we could relive, and the moments that we're grateful are behind us. As we air this final show of the year, the bottom line is that every memory, good or bad, they remind us that life is a messy, beautiful, unpredictable, priceless gift from God. And every moment captured tells the story of a God who walked with us through it all. And that's what I'm thankful for this year, as this year comes to a close. God has walked with me, as I'm sure He's walked with you. And He has been so good this past year. He's been faithful, He's been present. He's given strength when we've needed it. And He's given peace when it was hard to find. And He has reminded us that this year, that we are never alone when we place our faith and trust in Him. I mean, it's obvious. We can't change the moments behind us. 2025, it's done, and we can't go back in time and change a thing. But we can choose how we step into 2026. So let's do it with hope and confidence. As we conclude another year of Heart Matters, let me take a moment to thank each and every guest this past year, to our staff, Seanne Heath, Mike Snow, and David Kenty, our volunteers, sponsors, and partners. And we especially like to thank all of you, our viewers, for allowing us into your homes. And from all of us here at Heart Matters, Happy New Year, and God bless you all.